I think it would be very amiss of me to not continue with this fanfic. And I'm a nice guy, so I will go through this torturous task. And it has absolutely nothing to do with that it was voted for on Twitter for me to continue. Absolutely nothing to do. Okay, so we'll continue this. This is part 2 of Love in the Loud House. Lincoln and Lucy together. We will start this with a opening from our lovely editor, Red. And we'll just dive headfirst into this. Red. Alrighty guys, I'm doing the intro this time, so here is the next chapter of Love in the Loud House, and thanks to some great suggestions, let us know if you want Lincoln's other system in this harem. Disclaimer, I do not own the Loud House, I wish I did, I really do. Lucy, why would you want to die? Lincoln said, scared of what his little sister would do as she pulled the bloody razor blade out of her arm. Lucy refused to speak as she tried to dig the blade into her chest. Lincoln grabbed her arm. Tell me, he said, his multicoloured eyes filled with worry. Why should I? This is my fucking problem, she screamed, digging the blade deeper. Because I love you, Lincoln said, his eyes now tearing up. You're my sister. Why do you even care? She sobbed quietly. I'm just an unwanted mistake of a child. No, you're not, he said. Yes, I am. Our parents never even planned to have me. I'm an accident, Lincoln. Our parents had 11 kids, and I'm the only one they never planned on. Everyone's always forgetting that I even exist. People always forget my birthday. The only times when people notice me is when I talk. I am a fucking mistake, Lincoln. Lucille Maria Loud, he shouted. You are not a mistake. You're a gift, a treasure, my little sister. I never want to hear you speak of yourself like that, ever. His tears were streaming heavily. You are no mistake, and you sure as hell aren't some freak. You are my little sister, and I don't know what I would do if anything ever happened to you. He sobbed as he hugged her gently, slowly pulling out the blade in her chest. Lucy was shocked, and for the first time in her life she cried. It's okay, Lucy, he said as her tears and blood fell onto his shirt. Just let it out. Her sobs became louder as the rain poured harder outside. Lincoln, I'm so sorry. She held on tight to him. It's all right, he comforted her, helping her down onto the washroom where he managed to soothe the wounds and wrap them up better. Lincoln? He looked up at her. Yeah? I'm so sorry. I just wanted to end it all, she sobbed. That's all right, Luce, he said as she wrapped her arms around him. Lincoln, let's take a shower. Lincoln looked down and saw his blooded clothing. I need a shower, but you need rest. She nodded. She slowly limped to her room, but not before swiftly planting a small kiss on Lincoln's lips, which caused him to blush. She quickly entered the bedroom before Lincoln could register what happened. Whoa! She kissed me! He thought in surprise as he snapped out of his trance. He quickly changed out of his clothes and turned on the showerhead. Hello, anyone home? Lynn said as she stepped in with her older sisters. Lynn, I'm in my room changing, Lincoln shouted. Lynn blushed as she remembered the last time she accidentally barged on Lincoln changing. Although she did enjoy it, but not so much the pillow to her face. She shook her head. Oh, okay, she yelled back, her sisters understanding her stutter. She wasn't the only one to ever walk in on Lincoln. The other siblings have done it. And they all kinda enjoyed it, except for Laurie. Lynn, Luann and Luna still blushed at how big he had grown. Especially there? What? Lenny, while she didn't care much, Lisa, Lana, Lola and Lily, they never barged in, so they never saw him. Lucy finished fixing her dress and opted to staying in her current clothing to just lay down. Her small mouse curled up on her chest. She gave a smile as Luna's dog Charles came in and started to lick her face. "Charles, stop!" she softly giggled as she heard Lynn's voice. "Hey, Lucy!" Well, they were gonna see this eventually. I thought Lynn would be the first, considering she slept in the same room, she thought as Charles whimpered, smelling the blood on her wrists. "Don't worry, boy, I'll be alright," she told the black and white dog as she rubbed his head. Lynn knocked on the door as Lucy took a deep breath. "Yeah?" She opened the door. "Hey, Luce, have you seen my holy Bronco Busters?" Lynn found herself at a loss for words. "Lucy, what happened to you?" "Oh, I'd rather not talk about it, Lynn," she answered as Charles tried to climb onto her lap, causing her mouse to move closer to her neck. She walked over to her. "Lucy, I'm your sister. Tell me what happened," she said in a serious tone. Lucy turned away. "I tried to kill myself," she muttered under her breath, but loud enough for Lynn to hear, and Laurie, who was behind them. "Lincoln!" she shouted as she marched into his room. "What did you do?" "What?" Lynn sighed at her older sister's overprotectiveness. For God's sake. Lynn was holding on to her sister as Laurie had finally shut up and let Lincoln actually talk about what he got home. "And that's what happened," Lincoln said, nursing his black eye with a stake while hiding behind Luann and Luna, who were wielding chairs and Lenny was holding a huge Bible for protection. Did Lincoln just have the crap beaten out of him? Laurie calmed down as Lynn was prepped to grab her bat in case she went batshit crazy again. "Alright, look, I'm sorry," she said, sweating. "I may have overreacted a bit." "Oh, you think?" they all shouted at her. Just a little. "You're paying for a new telly," Luna said. "Yeah, I know," she said as she saw the very broken TV. "Okay, now that's settled, I say we get something to eat," Lenny said, still agitated, and for good reason. "Agreed," they all said as Lynn just closed the door and stayed with Lucy. "Luce, I'm so sorry, you should never have gone through all that," she said as she yelped a little, seeing a small white mouse on her head. "Don't worry, he's harmless," Lucy said as she slowly lifted her hand up to her forehead and it crawled onto it. "Hand out your hand." Lynn slowly did so, and Lucy put her hand close to hers, the small mouse crawling onto Lynn's hand. "See? I guess it's kinda cute," she said nervously as it walked around her hand. It crawled up her arm and curled up on her shoulder, quickly falling asleep as Lenny knocked on the door. Lynn scooped up the sleeping mouse and placed it in the cage before opening the door. "Hey Lynn, you want to come down and eat? I want to talk with Lucy." "Huh? Oh, sure, Len," she said as she walked out, leaving the two alone. "So, what do you want to talk about, Lenny?" "Lincoln." Lucy flinched. "I know how you feel about him." "Is that a reason why you're picked on?" Lucy was shocked. She didn't expect Lenny of all people to figure her out. "Lucy, you should tell him how you feel," she said, placing a hand on her shoulder with a warming smile. "But what if he doesn't like me?" Lucy said, causing Lenny to frown and to put on a serious face. "Lucy, do you know why I act all dumb?" Wait, you acting dumb was an act?" "She merely acted retarded," she said, shocked. Lenny nodded. "I had a huge heartbreak in 6th grade. My boyfriend cheated on me and broke up with me through text, and after that I was picked on for being a smart ass. I guess I used it to cover my sadness." "Oh, Lenny," she sat up but fell back down and as she hissed in pain. "Careful, you're still hurt," Lenny said as she stroked Charles's fur. Lucy sat back down with a sigh. "Luce, if you don't tell him, you might never know how he feels." "Yeah, I know." Tears fell from her eyes. Lenny got up and hugged her. "Don't worry, it'll be alright," she spoke. "I hope." The younger siblings arrived home and got an explanation as to why the TV was in pieces. They were all in bed while Lucy stayed up. She was thinking about what Lenny told her, and she was right. She got up from her bed and slowly went to Lincoln's room, knowing that he would be awake watching a movie. She knocked on the door and he opened it. "Lucy, what are you doing here so late? You should be resting." She didn't speak. She just wrapped her arms around him. "What's wrong?" he asked. She looked up at him, her crimson eyes for once visible. "Lucy, I never knew your eyes were red," he said. "I'm sorry," she said sadly. "Don't be." I have to, Lincoln. I was stupid. This is all messed up. This don't make sense." "No, you're not stupid," he tried comforting her. "Yes, I am, especially what I did before I ran to my room, and actually, I kind of enjoyed it if it makes you feel better," Lincoln said, brushing and rubbing the back of his head. You did?" she said, shocked. "Yeah." She looked away. "Lincoln, I care about you more than a sister should for her brother." She spoke with a blush. "And I don't care if I get frowned upon or beaten up because of it." Lincoln was amazed. "So, that's why you were?" She nodded. "Since I was free?" "What?" "And since then my feelings have grown and my personality getting colder," she said in a somber tone. "Lucy, if anything, I'm touched." He spoke with a smile as he wiped her tears. You really mean it?" Lincoln nodded. "Of course I do." And she gave a smile. But what about Ronnie Ann?" she said. "Yeah, Ronnie's kind of gotten a little possessive over me, and I've heard that she's actually threatened any girl near me, including a couple of boys, even Christina, and oddly enough, Clive and Mrs. Johnson." Lincoln spoke, looking away while sweating. Lucy growled at this. That bitch, she thought, as she clenched her fists, almost reopening old scars. "She'll pay." Lucy calmed down. "Her arms is bleeding again." "Sorry, Lucy, calm down. Your arms is bleeding again." She stopped and looked at her arms and sees a few past cuts tore open. She calmed herself down and let her arm just heal itself. "I'm sorry, I just got angry," she said sadly as Lincoln hugged her. Lincoln smiled as she nuzzled into his neck. "I love you, Lucy," he said with a blush. I love you too," she said as they slowly moved closer, their lips finally touching. Lincoln deepened the kiss and Lucy did. He picked her up bridal style and carried her over to his bed. They both lay down and slowly fell asleep, their hands together. "Lucy," she said. She opened her eyes a few hours later. "Yeah, Lincoln, you okay?" "Yeah, just a bad dream, that's all," she spoke, resting her head against his chest. Lincoln gave a smile and placed a small kiss on her forehead. "Hey, Lucy, I have a question to ask you." "How do you keep warping everywhere without anyone noticing?" he asked. "I've been studying black magic, and the only thing that I've been able to do is teleport." Oh, that fucking explains the whole teleporting shit in the first one. She spoke with her usual smile. She doesn't smile. "That's cool. Please, you gotta teach me how to do that," he spoke with excitement. Lucy snuggled into him. "Of course I will," she said as she kissed his cheek and laid her head on his chest. Alright guys, that's chapter 2. Next time on Love in the Loud House, Lincoln and Lucy get ice cream only to run into an unexpected problem and things heat up as they make noises that go bump in the night. I'm reading that next chapter immediately.